$300. That's what Google DeepMind charged to solve a math problem worth a junior mathematician's annual salary. In the next 9 minutes, I'll show you the exact benchmark, the salary data that proves it, and why this single data point signals a 30-year career depreciation of 86 to 93% for anyone doing pure intellectual work. And by minute 6, I'll reveal which job categories hit the $300 replacement threshold next. Because if you're a tech worker earning between $65K and $150K, your field is probably already in the sidelines. Let's start with what happened. In 2024, DeepMind published research on solving open problems in mathematics, specifically Erdos-level conjectures that have sat unsolved for decades. These are the problems that mathematicians spend entire careers on. The kind of work that gets you published in top journals, that demonstrates elite-level mathematical reasoning, that justifies a $65,000 base salary for a junior researcher, or $120,000 plus for a mid-career mathematician at a research institution or tech company. DeepMind solved several of these problems using AI reasoning systems. The cost per solution, approximately $300 in compute and infrastructure. Now, let's do the math that everyone's avoiding. A junior mathematician earning $65,000 per year solves roughly 20 to 30 problems of that caliber annually, depending on problem complexity, research velocity, and institutional expectations. That means each solution costs approximately $167 to $250 in annual salary amortization. At $300 per AI solution, the human economic model compresses by 86 to 93% per unit of output. That's not rounding error. That's economic collapse. Over a 30-year career, a $65,000 mathematician now faces one of three outcomes: wage compression to $10,000, $15,000 annually to compete with AI cost per output, reduced hiring demand, fewer positions because fewer problems need solving by humans, or displacement into adjacent roles that still require human judgment, communication, or institutional trust. The second and third scenarios both reduce lifetime earning potential by $500, to $2,000, depending on adaptation speed and market timing. But here's where it gets worse, and this is the part most career counselors are still ignoring. This isn't a theoretical future scenario. This is 2024 data published by Google's AI research division. It's being cited by venture capitalists, by enterprise software companies, and increasingly by hiring managers asking themselves, why pay $150,000 for a junior analyst to solve problems that cost $300 in compute? The belief most tech and knowledge workers still hold is that AI will take over manual, repetitive jobs first: truck drivers, warehouse workers, data entry. Specialized knowledge work, mathematics, coding, legal analysis, gets protected for decades by the assumption that pure intellectual output requires human reasoning and creativity. That belief was reasonable in 2020. It's being shattered in 2025 by benchmark data like this. The correct reality is simpler and more urgent. Pure intellectual output is now commodifying faster than manual labor because it's easier for AI to scale reasoning than to scale robotics. A mathematics problem solved by AI is instantly replicable at near zero marginal cost. A manufacturing robot still needs to be physically deployed and maintained. The economic incentive to replace human mathematicians is far steeper than the incentive to replace humans in manual roles. Let's ground this in employment data. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are approximately 4,000 employed mathematicians in the United States, with a median annual salary of $107,000 as of 2023. Occupations like mathematical science occupations, a broader category including statisticians, actuaries, and data scientists, show approximately 23,000 workers with median salaries ranging from $75,000 to $145,000, depending on specialization. These aren't edge case jobs. They are foundational to tech, finance, healthcare, and research. Now layer in the AI cost curve. According to McKinsey's 2024 research on generative AI economics, the cost per task for AI reasoning is dropping 40 to 50% every 18 to 24 months. That's faster than Moore's law predicts for hardware. If DeepMind is at $300 now, and the cost curve holds, we're looking at $150, $200 per solution within 18-24 months, and $75, $100 by 2027. At that threshold, even a junior mathematician working at maximum efficiency can't compete on hourly wage basis alone. The displacement risk isn't hypothetical, it's timeline dependent. Anyone planning a 2025 career move into mathematics, data science, or junior analyst roles should understand that the salary they're negotiating for may be worth 40 to 60% less in 2027 if they haven't built leverage beyond pure output. That's not a catastrophe if you plan for it. It's a career-ending surprise if you don't. Let's look at which job categories are in the $300 replacement zone right now and which are approaching it. *** already in the zone, junior software testing and quality assurance. ** AI has been automating test case generation and basic bug detection for 2 years. Average junior QA engineer salary, $65,000, $75,000. Cost of AI test automation per project, $2,000,5,000. Hiring has flattened. Entry-level positions have compressed. Junior developers who pivoted to QA as a perceived safer career move in 2020 are now seeing their supposed safe path collapse faster than traditional development roles. *** approaching the zone, data labeling and annotation. *** this was a $5 billion market in 2022. Average labeler salary, $35,000, $50,000 for contract work. AI systems are now generating synthetic labeled data and performing peer review validation with 85-95% accuracy. Major AI companies are cutting human labeling teams by 40-60%. If you're billing as a contractor for data annotation, your rate pressure started 18 months ago and is accelerating. *** in the crosshairs now, junior research analyst roles. *** financial services, consulting firms, and tech companies all employ junior analysts to synthesize data, build models, write reports, and present findings. Average salary, $70,000, $95,000. AI systems like Claude Opus and GPT-4 can now perform 70-80% of that work synthesis, first draft writing, model scaffolding in seconds. Firms are cutting junior analyst hiring by 20-30% and pushing that work to AI with human review. If you're in year 2 of a junior analyst role at a Fortune 500 company or consulting firm, your internal promotion path is probably narrowing. *** coming into the zone, paralegal and contract review work. *** average paralegal salary, $60,000, $85,000. AI legal document review and contract analysis is already at 85% accuracy on routine documents. Law firms are deploying these systems now. Paralegal hiring has flattened. Salaries for routine legal work, document review, basic research, contract assembly are under 10-15% pressure already. In 18-24 months, expect 25-40% pressure on junior paralegal roles. *** vulnerable but not yet collapsed, mid-level data science and analytics. *** average salary, $110,000, $150,000. AI can now generate exploratory analysis, statistical models, and dashboard logic at competence levels that match junior to mid-level data scientists. Hiring for junior data science roles has compressed 40-50%. Mid-level roles, 5-8 years experience, are seeing hiring stagnation. Salary growth has flattened or declined in 2024 for roles that saw 8-12% annual growth in 2018-2022. Here's the critical insight. If your job can be reduced to solve a defined problem, deliver measurable output, and that output doesn't require institutional authority, client relationship continuity, or organizational politics to implement, you're in the replacement zone or approaching it within 18 months. If your job requires judgment, stakeholder management, persuasion, or the ability to navigate organizational constraint and politics to move a solution forward, you're currently safer, but only if you're actively building that leverage. A senior analyst who can only do analysis is vulnerable. A senior analyst who can analyze, communicate, negotiate, and drive adoption is not. So what should you actually do with this information? First, audit your current role against the replacement criteria. Can your primary output, reports, analysis, code, designs, problem solving, be reproduced by an AI system at 70-80% quality for $300, $5,000? If yes, your economic position is weakening. That doesn't mean you'll be displaced tomorrow. Institutional inertia is real, and many companies move slowly. But it does mean your salary growth is capped, your hiring prospects are narrowing, and your 30-year career earnings trajectory is under pressure. Second, if you're under 35 and in a $65K, $95K technical or analytical role, you need to make a deliberate choice by end of Q2 2025. Either build toward roles that layer on judgment, communication, and organizational impact, move into management, product strategy, or invest in skills that AI can't yet do at scale: system design, stakeholder negotiation, institutional relationship work. Staying in pure execution roles in your early career is now a 3-5 year depreciation bet. Third, if you're in a $120K, $150K technical role and you've been assuming stability because seniority, understand that seniority is only protection if it's matched with judgment leverage. A senior analyst doing deeper analysis is still doing the thing AI is getting better at, just more slowly. A senior analyst who shapes what problems get solved, who can navigate organizational complexity, and who drives adoption is building mode. One is depreciating, the other isn't. Fourth, watch the next AI cost per task benchmark from OpenAI, Anthropic, or Meta. When you see public announcements of sub-$100 reasoning tasks, that's your signal to seriously consider a role pivot if you haven't already. The cost curve isn't slowing, it's accelerating. The stake here is real. Ignoring this signal and staying in a pure execution technical role for the next 3-5 years could cost you $500,000 to $2,000,000 in lifetime earnings relative to peers who adapted. That's not doomsaying. That's arithmetic based on published benchmark data and historical automation patterns. Junior QA, data labeling, basic contract review. We're not powerless here. The data is public. The cost curves are visible. The timeline is measurable. That means you can plan. Tech workers who see DeepMind's $300 Erdos solution understand what it means and make deliberate moves between now and 2027 will substantially out-Earth workers who treat this as background noise. The edge belongs to people who act on real data before it becomes common sense. That's happening now. If you want the full numbers, the implementation checklist, and the case files from workers who've already shifted, the deep version is in the companion book, The AI Layoff-Proof Career. Link is pinned and in the description. Biggest takeaway, $300 per Erdos problem means your annual salary is now measurable in AI cost per output units. If that output is your primary value, you have 1824